Hi everyone, I'm Karen Robinson from littlepaperparty.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Australia, and I am back after enjoying a nice break over summer and the Christmas holidays. And I have a few Valentine's Day projects to share with you because January is nearly over, and yeah, that's coming up very, very quickly. So yeah, I'll be sharing a few over the next few weeks. I hope you enjoy them, and we will get started with the first one. They're all very quick and easy things to do, and only little, so they don't require a lot to put into them. So this is the first one I'm starting with. It's a little mini milk carton. I've made this lots of times before. It's really, really cute. The paper I am using for this is actually retired. This is from last year's kind of Valentine's Day paper, but in Australia it is currently on the clearance rack. It may not be on the clearance rack in other countries because that varies from country to country, but in Australia as of today, the 20th of January 2021, it is on the clearance rack and it's $10, which is really good. It was originally $25, so that's great, I think. And it is a lovely paper, and some of them are foiled, which is what makes it a specialty one, but it is definitely a Valentine's-y one. It's real red, floaty flamingo and whisper white are the colors, lots of hearts and everything in there, but a good bargain if you do want to pick up some paper inexpensively. But anyway, we will get started. So to make this size box, you will need a piece that is 6.5 by 4.5 inches. Unfortunately, it's not quite as economical as I would usually like. You can only make 3 of these from one sheet of 12 by 12 paper. There are other sizes of this box, but this is leftover paper. I'm trying to use up my retired stuff, so I didn't mind if I wasn't being super economical with it. But just to let you know, you can only make 3 of these from one 12 by 12 piece. So I'm going to grab the simplest board. Sorry, clearing my throat, as usual. So in the 6.5 inch orientation, we're going to score it at 1.5, 3 inches, 4.5, and 6 inches. We're just going to turn it 90 degrees, and we're going to score it at 1.5, 3 inches, and then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to score it at 4 inches. I was reading 4.5 and thinking that doesn't make sense. At 4 inches, this is the 4.5 inch side. So this is just going to make this little top bit here kind of fold back a little bit easier. So you don't have to fold and burnish if you don't want to. Hopefully that's not too glary. Actually, I don't know. I'll have to have a look afterwards. So with our little score line at the top, that means this is going to be the bottom. So we're just going to cut up these tabs, cut off the skinny rectangle at one end. I'm going to cut up these tabs. So when we fold it around, this is, I just want to wedge some of them in because this is quite small. It's going to be the back. That's going to be the front, so that means that's going to be a side, so I can wedge that one in. It doesn't really matter if you did wedge in, you know, a top one. You'll just see it, but it's on the bottom, so, you know, it doesn't really matter too much. Okay, and then we'll just wedge those in a little bit. I just find it helps it sit a little bit nicer. Sorry, my bin has moved out of the way. Then we'll grab your scoring tool. Sorry. I am so sorry. Of course, I've started to record. It's been perfectly fine all morning, and now I'm all croaky. It's just a gift. So fold and burnish all your score lines. I mean, if you've made any sort of 3D paper projects, you've probably made little milk cartons 1,000 times before. They're really nice though, they're so cute. Okay, so this one I'm going to fold this way. And then this top one that we scored on the reverse side, I am going to fold and burnish in the opposite direction. Now, sometimes on a milk carton you do need to add some score lines in for the little kind of triangle to make it close into that traditional milk carton style, but this is so small, and because it's just DSP, it goes in well enough, so I'm not going to bother adding those. So a little bit of tape, so I'm using tear and tape. So on our tab over here, just going to size off just a wedge there. I like to do that because if I haven't cut it perfectly straight, sometimes you just get that little bit that pops up, and I don't like it, but it isn't necessary. A little bit of tape. But if you have any excess, just roll it back on itself. It's double-sided, so you won't lose any of the sticky. You'll just make sure it all mix up nicely. And that is our basic box. Not quite perfectly perfect, but it's okay. So where the seam is the back, which means this one's going to be the front. So I am going to, actually what I might do is I might even, these little tabs that I have wedged, I'm just going to cut a little bit off them so I don't have quite as much bulk on the bottom. You don't have to do that, it's totally optional, but yeah. Now I won't be putting anything super heavy in this, so I'm just going to put a little bit of tape on the front. It's way too much tape, but it doesn't matter. So as you can see, I've gone quite a bit over here, but that is okay. You could definitely trim that off, or I just like to just roll it back on itself and stick it in place. Where I am, I'm in Australia. I'm in subtropical Queensland, so it's hot here. I have the fan going, and so if you see bits of paper flying around, that's all that is. So we're going to fold in the side tabs, fold in the back, make sure everything's all nice and square, and then fold over the front. Turn it over and just to give it a little press from the inside to help all that stick down nicely. And then with your seam at the back, so these are going to be the sides, and you're just going to push at the halfway mark and just slowly pinch them together. And then you will see, okay, so I do have a little bit, there we go. And sometimes, yes, I did need to give that a little bit of guidance just in this corner because I didn't put those marks in, but this is so small, it doesn't really need that, those extra score lines to help it form. And that's it beautifully. And this score line here kind of helps it naturally stop, so it'll have that nice slope there, and then it'll be straight from down. And that's it, that's our box, ready to go, ready to fill. Now how I have finished closed mine is I've actually used these little white pegs. I think these were from a retired embellishment kit, but you could use anything you would like to close these, but I'm just using these because I have them, they're cute, they're the right size proportionally, the right color, and I just thought I'd use them. Any sort of little clips, paper clips, you could staple it closed and cover it up with something else. The closure, use whatever you want. It depends whether you want permanent or something easy open that can be reclosed. So to decorate this, I used one of the new bundles from the current mini catalogue, the January-June mini catalogue, and this is the Kangaroo and Company bundle. Well, it comes as a bundle. You can of course buy it separately, so there are stamp set and dies. You can buy them together and it is 10% off, so which is always good, so I tend to do that. This is such a fun set. I've been playing with it, but not enough. It's so cute. Anyway, I did an unboxing and I talked about this a little bit, but yeah, it's really cute. What I like is the mummy kangaroo. She has, the die will actually cut a slit in her pouch, so there is this shape that will slide in there, and then you can add these other elements, and including this partial joey on the top, and so kind of pull it out and then have your sentiment down below. And a very, very simple interactive style card, but lots of fun. So these are the ones that I used. So I used this full little Joey here, this letter, and one of the sentiments I used just for you, and oh sorry, and this heart. They all cut out with these dies from the set. So to color them, I stamped them in Memento Black ink, and then I just colored them in with my Stampin' blends. So for the Joey, I used a light, the Crumb Cake combo. For the hearts, I used Real Red combo. I used a little bit of light Calypso Coral for his nose, his ear, and just in his cheek. This is the one, I actually have the ones that I've done for this particular project. So used light Calypso Coral, his cheeks a bit more. And then for the envelope, I used ivory for that because the white was just too stark. It didn't look really good. And the sentiment, I just fussy cut and stuck onto the envelope because then it worked out well with the proportions and size of this little project. So for my first Joey, sorry I keep putting this down, I wanted it to look as though he was holding the heart, so I did use a little craft knife and cut a slit and kind of slid it in there, which did work well, and I liked how it looked, but it was really fiddly, and if you look close it's like a little bit wrinkly there. So for the second time around I decided just to fussy cut the heart and then pop it on there, so which I like better, only because it's now lost its white outline, it doesn't stand out as much against the background as the original does. But a couple of options, it definitely was faster to do it that way than fuss around making a slit and trying to get it in there without ruining it. So I'm happy enough with that. And I think on a different pattern piece, it would look perfectly fine as well. So let's just pop our little guy on there. So he's already colored, cut, and ready to go. So I did decide to use dimensionals to add everything to my box because I like it. So you won't need too many. These dimensionals seem huge. I must have used a lot of mini dimensionals, I think. By the look of it, because these ones seem really, really big. So I've made this a few weeks ago. But I'm only just getting around to recording it now. Yeah, that'll do. Backing's off. I'll pop him on. So make sure that I have the seam at the back. On my original, I actually put it on the front. It's like, oh. After I'd stuck him all on, it was like, oh no, that's the front of my box. A couple of dimensionals on my letter. I wanted this at a little angle. Oh, I've just remembered something. So I'll have to do it afterwards. Okay, and I stuck that on at a little bit of an angle because I just liked how that looked. This is so cute. You could choose any little sentiment that you have. I mean, you could just make that a sentiment. I just liked the letter. And there's, for example, like, love you much kind of thing. But I just wanted something, even though I'm designing this for Valentine's Day, maybe less Valentine's Daisy, that I could maybe give to someone and not they think it was weird. So anyway, and that's my thinking, but if you don't care, that use whatever sentiment you would like, but that's why I just chose the Just For You. So I did want to add a little bit of embellishment, and I'm looking around. Oh, there they are. For a minute I thought they had gone, they were just upside down. And these little resin heart embellishments, oh man, I am addicted to these. So they are part of another suite, the snail suite. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. They are just so cute. They are just really lovely, and I've been adding them to everything. So yes, I did color this heart in, but on my original I just popped one of these over the top, and I really liked how it looked. Just adds that little bit of, they're not shiny, they're matte, which I actually like too, but it just adds that little bit of dimension and a little bit of interest, and yeah, super cute. So that is the first project. It is really quick and easy. You could fit a few things in here. I don't actually have too many goodies. I had something floating around, but it seems to have disappeared. But you can fit just a few little yummies in there, but easy to make, great way to use up any extra cardstock you have. And if you didn't have this particular paper pack, another paper pack current one that would work really well is the Snail Mail Designer Series paper. So I know that there are snails obviously in here, which are super cute, but there's all these background papers that would be perfect for Valentine's Day projects as well. And this one's covered in hearts, for example, so that would work really, really well if you had that in your stash too. All right, well, that is everything for today. I will see you next time with another Valentine's Day project. Bye.